Hello, Malta. Two important oil paintings. Important is a very overused word in England. Dealers and auctioneers use it, and it's indiscriminately used, perhaps overused. But these are such an important pair of pictures in Malta for sale. So distinctive, and they are breathtaking pictures. They're so colourful, there's so much going on in them, and the frames are wonderful too. So I'm going to go through it. There's an exhaustive description on the web, on my website, with the price and some information about it. And when I bought them, I was very surprised to be able to buy these pictures. When I bought these pictures, there was no information about them at all. It was just two pictures. What are they? Well, just two pictures, old pictures. So I've had to find this scene, and I thought Sabine women. So I obviously trawled around the internet, and there's a lot of depictions of Sabine women, especially some French ones, later ones. But I can't find these scenes as source paintings. Of course, I make the assumption they are after paintings, but they might not be after paintings, but I can't find the source paintings. I think that they're Italian school. They could be Spanish, they could be English. No, sorry, they could be French, possibly. But I think they're Italian school. I think they were painted in Italy. We have a Roman subject, classical subject. They have these lovely frames. They're not English frames. And that's the best shot I have. I think they're Italian school. I think they're 1700. I think the frames are the same age. I think that they're very possibly a little bit earlier as well. So further research by an academic will tell us really what they are, and they will have more information about whether my prognosis on the subject is right. The information saying it's Sabine women is an opinion. So it's a sort of my first stab at trying to find the subject. It might not be right, so bear that in mind. I read in the classics about Sabine women, and I was very surprised to see that it mentions round and square shields. The clipping is in the website description. I was very surprised to see that the classics and another one mentions a musical instrument. And fundamentally, when Rome was founded, you have Romulus marrying the daughter of his sworn enemy, and the Romans make peace with their neighbours in a satisfactory way, because the females of the opposing sides don't like to see all the men being killed, and they actually stop fighting. So there's a very, very interesting story about the Sabine women. And it's about forgiveness, it's about the formation of Rome. I mean, this is probably the Tiber, the Capitoline Hill, the Palatine Hill. I think it's all there. A broken tree, again, the classics allude to a damaged area, a ransacked area. So I think all the elements are here. You have a Roman armour, you have all these things which tie the subject in, and I think I'm on the right tracks for certain. Okay, the condition of the picture has some crackle, but it is sound, and it's very colourful, and a very full picture. It will have been restored over time, there's no doubt about that. It will have been retouched, but I think it's for an old picture, it's in a very nice unrestored condition. And if you are going to have it restored, because they're not desperately big, it's not going to be a terrible cost price to have them done. The frames are gold. They are water gilded, real gold, and they're really quite big frames, and they're not in perfect condition, but they're in a pleasing condition. There is some gesso missing. They will be pine with gesso, with water gilded, real gold leaf. This is sgraffito. It's a wide sgraffito. It's not the common sgraffito, which is narrow. It's quite deep sgraffito. You have the borders, you have the high burnished areas, and you have the less burnished areas. So they can be patched, they can be left as they are, or if you are rich and you want to invest in these pictures, you can have them regilded, and they will look fantastic. They're not too dull at the moment. They're really quite good, in quite good condition in that respect. They don't need to be done, but there are chips and patches. They can be very easily simply repaired or properly repaired. Okay, so we talked about the frame, we talked about the fact they were probably Italian school. and they're probably from a source painting. The Sabine story has many segments in it, and the popular the popular segments are painted over and over again, but there are intermediate parts of the story which are not represented at all. I can't find that anywhere. Now, of course, I think it's part of the same Sabine situation, Rome situation. I would have thought if I tried to find this clubbing, that I would be able to find it, but I think what this depicts is the anger of the Sabines, which would have come after the rape of the Sabines, which would have come before the formation of New Rome. So I'm not a scholar, but I think I'm on the right track. It's a very interesting story. It's quite hard to get your head around when you first look at it. It's like going back to school, but it's well worth a look. Look back some pictures. This would have had a large hanging hook on it, which is gone. It's now got two chunky Victorian hooks, which are not adequate to hold the weight in my view. There were evidence of two canvases here, which is important. If it was one piece of canvas with a picture of this age, I would be panicking. There is some tightness in that. I think that was relined 100 years ago, maybe longer. I think that this stretcher is probably not the earliest, the original stretcher. I think it's a very nice thing, and there's some antiquity there, and as I say, it's very chunky and stout. This is wrought iron. Okay, let's get the other one. The ones fall over, so I'll take my time. That's happy there. This one here looks the same. Broken that hook. That one's too small. There was perhaps another iron thing. It's gone. It's been filled at some stage. I don't know why. Ochre colour. The bowl, B-O-L-E, looks to me to be a red bowl. There is evidence of red bowl on the front here. If it was yellow bowl, I would be starting to think of Florence. Beautiful things. Okay, I've given you an opinion. We've talked about the subject, we've talked about where they're from, or where they might be from. I'm just going to before I finish, just going to mention the appearance I have. These look like very expensive pictures. I mean, they are expensive pictures, but they look like expensive pictures. You sometimes find academically expensive pictures that don't look like much. You'll see a picture by a known artist. It might be one of the less well-known scenes. It might be small, peripheral subject. And some of these expensive pictures don't look expensive. They look like expensive pictures. If you went into a stately home in England or in Italy, Malta even saw those on the wall. They fit. They're good pictures. Sometimes people put disappointing pictures in really good houses, and it's just a shame because they spend so much money on the house, on the kitchen, on the bathrooms, on their car, and yet you have this beautiful room in an old house and you spend money having it refurbished. Lots of money on the chandelier, for example, or a tiled floor, but they put such horrible pictures on the wall, and they look right. These are fantastic pictures. You just go and get a chance to buy them. Many of them have been restored now, and when you go to sale rental shops, they've been done, and to a degree that would be included in the price. But these are such a lovely colour and patina, and the imperfections are endearing, really. So as I say, I don't think necessarily they need to be completely overhauled. I would do the chips on the gesso, which is fairly easy to do. They're great pictures. I don't know who painted them. As I say, I make the assumption they are after pictures, but I can't find the exact source painting. Okay, thanks for having a look.